Okay, so like, imagine this. Okay, what if everything we know, like all the stars out there, the galaxies, everything in the entire universe is actually like inside a black hole?
Whoa.
That's kind of the wild idea we're going to dive into today. And by the way, if you enjoy these deep dives into fascinating ideas that really get you thinking,
Hmm.
the kind of stuff that helps you become the best version of yourself, well, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Necessary Cookies, after this discussion, because that's exactly what we're all about over there, too.
It's pretty crazy to think about, right? But what's really interesting is that this isn't just some like random science fiction idea. The James Webb Space Telescope is giving us some new clues about the early universe, and they're making scientists rethink some really fundamental stuff about how the universe began and even what it's actually made of.
For sure. We've been looking at some reports from space.com and Futurism. And yeah, the data from the JWST is definitely throwing some curveballs. It's hinting at this black hole universe concept. But there's also another possibility that's a bit less mind-bending, but still super important that we need to talk about too. So today we're going to try to explain what the JWST is seeing, explore this wild black hole theory, and then look at that other explanation as well. Without getting too lost in the complicated science stuff, hopefully.
Yeah, the goal is to really break down these new findings and see what they might be telling us about, the big picture of the universe and our place in it.
All right, so let's just start with a quick thought experiment here. When you think about space, the vastness of it all, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Endless empty space, swirling galaxies, maybe a black hole just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, I think most people picture something like that. It's hard not to, right?
Okay.
Totally. So as part of this survey with the JWST called JADE, astronomers looked at a bunch of super distant galaxies, like way, way out there. These galaxies are really old, and they found something strange. It turns out that most of them, like 2/3, are spinning in one direction clockwise,
Yeah.
and only about 1/3 are spinning the other way, counterclockwise.
Right. So in a universe that just kind of formed randomly, you'd expect those spins to be more or less even, like a 50-50 split.
Exactly. So this uneven distribution, this like preference for a particular spin direction, that's what's making scientists scratch their heads.
That's the big mystery here. It suggests that maybe there's something fundamental about the universe that's causing this asymmetry.
Right, like a built-in handedness, as some people call it. And one of the scientists involved in the study, Lior Shamir, he suggested a couple of possible explanations for this. What were those again?
Well, one of them, and this is the really wild one, is that maybe the universe itself was born spinning. And he said that this idea kind of fits with some theories like black hole cosmology. Okay, so black hole cosmology. That sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
What is that all about? Like the idea that our whole universe could be inside a black hole, that just blows my mind.
I know, right? It's a really trippy concept. So basically, black hole cosmology, also called Schwarzschild cosmology, suggests that what we see as our universe might actually be inside a giant black hole. And that black hole would be part of a much bigger parent universe. It's like a universe within a universe situation.
So it's like saying our universe is just one little pocket in a much bigger cosmos that we can't even see or interact with.
Exactly. That's the mind-blowing part. We think of our universe as this vast, endless thing, but what if it's just one tiny piece of something much grander?
Okay, so if we're actually inside a black hole, where's the edge? Like, where does our universe end?
That's where the idea of the event horizon comes in. You know how the event horizon of a black hole is like the point of no return? Once you cross it, nothing, not even light, can escape.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Right. So black hole cosmology says that this event horizon could actually be the boundary of our observable universe. It's like a wall that we can't see past because nothing can get through it from the other side.
So every black hole we see out there, could each of those be like a separate universe, a baby universe like they were calling it in the reports?
That's the idea. Each black hole could be a doorway to a whole other universe that's completely cut off from ours.
Whoa, that's crazy. So there could be countless other universes out there that we'll never know about.
That's the wild implication of this theory. It really makes you question what we think we know about the universe.
The article from space.com mentioned a physicist named Nikodem Poplawski who really believes in this idea of baby universes. How does he think those universes would form?
Well, Poplawski focuses on what happens when a star collapses and forms a black hole. Like, we usually think all the matter gets squeezed into this infinitely small point called a singularity.
Yeah.
But Poplawski says there's something called torsion that might prevent that from happening.
Torsion? What's that?
It's basically a kind of twisting force within matter. Imagine twisting a towel to wring out the water. You're not just squeezing it, you're also twisting it. And Poplawski says this torsion force could get so strong during a star's collapse that it actually stops the singularity from forming. And then instead of collapsing completely, the matter bounces back outward with a huge amount of energy.
So instead of disappearing into a tiny point, the star explodes outwards and creates a whole new universe.
That's the basic idea. And that outward burst of energy that could be what caused the rapid expansion of the early universe that we call cosmic inflation.
Okay, but how does this connect to the whole thing about galaxies rotating in a preferred direction?
Well, here's the really cool part. Poplawski says that if the original black hole, the one that created our universe, was spinning, then the new universe it created would inherit that spin. That spin would then get passed down to the galaxies forming within the new universe, and maybe that's why we see more galaxies rotating in one direction than the other.
So the spin of a black hole in some other universe could be influencing how galaxies are spinning in our universe.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
Right. That's a pretty wild thought. And Poplawski is actually pretty excited about these new findings from the JWST. He thinks they might be some of the first evidence to support his theory.
Okay, so that's the really out there explanation. But the reports also mentioned a more down-to-earth possibility. What was that again?
Yeah, the other explanation has to do with the rotation of our own Milky Way galaxy.
Really? How could our galaxy's spin affect how we see galaxies that are billions of light years away?
Well, because we're moving through space as we orbit the Milky Way, our measurements of these distant galaxies might be slightly skewed. It's like when you're driving and you hear the siren of an ambulance. The sound changes as it passes you, right?
Yeah, the Doppler effect.
Exactly. It's a similar idea with light. The scientist who proposed this, Lior Shamir, thinks that our motion might be causing a kind of Doppler effect that makes galaxies rotating in the opposite direction to the Milky Way appear a tiny bit brighter. And that could explain why we see more galaxies rotating in one direction than the other. It's not that the universe itself has a preferred spin, it's just that our observations are slightly biased.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if our galaxy spin is really messing with our measurements, wouldn't that mean we have to recalibrate all our data about the distances to those faraway galaxies?
Yeah, exactly. And that could have some pretty big implications for our understanding of the universe. Shamir actually suggested that it might even help solve some other mysteries in cosmology, like why there are different measurements for how fast the universe is expanding and why some galaxies seem to be older than the universe itself.
So this whole thing about galactic rotation could end up causing a major shakeup in how we understand the universe. That's pretty amazing.
Totally. It shows how even something seemingly small, like the spin of our own galaxy, can have huge effects on our view of the cosmos.
Wow. So we've gone from the mind-bending idea that our universe is inside a spinning black hole to the idea that it's our own galaxy's spin that's tricking us. Which one is it? We don't know for sure yet, but it's fascinating to think about the possibilities.
Definitely. And these new observations from the JWST are really pushing the boundaries of what we know about the universe. It's an exciting time to be exploring these big questions.
It really is. So back to the big question, could our universe actually be inside a black hole? It's still up for debate, but these findings from the JWST are definitely making the idea seem more plausible.
I think so. It's a really thought-provoking concept, and it makes you wonder if there are other universes out there that we'll never be able to see.
Right, like what if each black hole is like a portal to a whole other reality? It's like something out of science fiction.
I know, it's incredible to think about. And it makes you realize how much we still don't know about the universe. There's so much more to discover out there.
Absolutely. And that's why we love doing these deep dives, to explore these big questions and try to make sense of the universe around us. And if you're as fascinated by these ideas as we are, we'd love for you to join us over on our YouTube channel, Necessary Cookies.
Yeah, we do all sorts of deep dives over there on all kinds of topics from science and technology to philosophy and personal growth.
It's all about expanding your mind, gaining new perspectives, and finding inspiration to become your best self.
Exactly. So if you're looking for a thought-provoking content that will really get you thinking, make sure to subscribe to Necessary Cookies after this.
We've got a ton of great content coming up that you won't want to miss.
We'll see you there.
See ya.